Once upon a midnight dreary, while I ponder weak and weary over many a quaint, a curious volume of forgotten lore, while I nodded, nearly napping, suddenly it came a tapping, and for some gently rapping at my chamber door. "'Tis some visitor," I muttered, tapping at my chamber door. Only this, and nothing more. Ah, distinctly I remember, it was in the bleak December, and each separate dying ember wrought its ghost upon the floor. Eagerly I wish the morrow. Vainly I have sought to borrow from my buck source of sorrow, from the lost of Leonore, from the rare and radiant maiden that the angels name Leonore, nameless here forevermore. And the silken, sad, uncertain rustling of each purple curtain thrilled me, filled me with fantastic terrors never felt before, so that now, to still my beating heart, I stood repeating, "'Tis some visitor entering entrance I met chamber door, some late visitor, entering entrance at my chamber's doors. This is it, and nothing more." Presently, my soul grew stronger, hesitating there no longer. "Sir," I said, "or madam, truly your forgiveness I implore, but the fact is I was napping, and so gently you came rapping, and so lightly you came tapping, tapping at my chamber's doors, that scarce why sure I hear you. Here, and open wide the door, and darkness there, and nothing more." Deep into that darkness peering, long I stood there wondering, fearing, doubting, dreaming dreams no mortal ever dreamed to dream before. But the silence was unbroken, and the stillness gave no token, and the only word spoken was the whispered word, "Leonore?" This I whispered, and an echo murmured back the word, "Leonore." Merely this, and nothing more. Back into the chamber turning, all my soul within me burning, soon again I heard a tapping, somewhat louder than before. "Surely," said I, "surely that is something at my window lattice. Let me see. Let me see then what is that mystery to explore. Let my heart be still for a moment, and this mystery explore. 'Tis the wind, and nothing more." Open, here I flung the shutter, when with many flirt and flutter, in there stepped a straily raven of the sanity days of yore. Not the least obeisance he made, not a minute stop or strayed he, but with mien of lord or lady, perched above my chamber door, perched upon the bust of Pallas, just above my chamber door, perched and sat, and nothing more. This ebony bird, believing myself fancying to smiling, by the grave and stern decorum of the countenance it wore, "Though thy crest be shorn and shaven, thou," I said, "art sure no craven. Ghastly grim ancient raven, wandering from the nightly shore, tell me what thy lordly name is on this night Plutonian shore." Quoth the raven, "Nevermore." Much I marveled at this ungainly fowl, to hear discourse so plainly, though its answer little meaning, little relevance it bore. For we cannot help agreeing that no living human being ever yet was blessed with seeing a bird above his chamber door, bird or beast, upon the sculptor bust above his chamber door, with such a name as Nevermore. But the raven, sitting lonely at the placid bust, spoke only that one word, as if his soul in that one word he did outpour. Nothing further than he uttered, not a feather then he fluttered, till I scarcely more than mother all their friends have flown before. On the morrow he will leave me, as my hopes have flown before. Then the bird said, Nevermore. Started at the stillness broken by reply so aptly spoken. Doubtless, I said, what is utters is only stock and store, caught from some unhappy master, whom unmerciful disaster follow fast and follow faster, till his song one burden bore, till the dries of his hope that melancholy burden bore of never, nevermore. But the raven still belonging on my fancy into smiling, straight I wheeled a cushioned seat in front of bird, bust, and door. Then, upon the velvet sinking, I betook myself into linking fancy unto fancy, thinking what is this ominous bird of yore? What this grim, ungainly, ghastly, gaunt and ominous bird of yore meant in croaking nevermore? This I sat engaged in guessing, but no syllable expressing. Then the fowl, whose fiery eyes now burn into my bosom core, this and more I sat divining, with my head easy reclining on the cushioned velvet lining, in the light glowed o'er, but whose velvet violet leaning, with the light glowing o'er, shire press, ah, nevermore. Then, mirrout, the air grew denser, perfumed by some unseen censer, swung by seraphim, whose full falls think on the thorned floor. Wretch, I cried, thy God had lent thee, by this angel he had sent thee, respite, respite and a sign from thy memories of Leonore. Quaff off, oh, quaff off. This kind of I never forget, this lost Leonore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Prophet, said I, thing of evil, bird of devil, prophet still. With 10% or with their tempest crossed their three ashore, desolate, yellow tundred, to this desert land enchanted, on this home by horror haunted, tell me truly, I implore, is there a balm glade? Tell me, I implore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Prophet, I said, thing of evil, prophet still, bird of devil, by heaven that above us, by that God we both adore, tell this soul with sorrow, laden if with this distant maiden, in the shall clasp a sainted maiden, whom the name angels name Leonore. Clasp a rare and radiant maiden, who the angels name Leonore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Be that word thou sign of parting, beard of fiend, I shriek of striking. Get back into the tempest and the night Plutonian shore. Leave no black plume as a token of that light that soul shall have spoken. Leave my loneliness unbroken, quit the bust above my door, take that beak from out my heart, take that from off my door. Quoth the raven, nevermore. And the raven, never fleeting, still is sitting on the pallid bust of Pallas, just above my chamber door, and his eyes have all the seeming, all the demon that is dreaming, and the lamplighter, him streaming this shadow upon the floor, and my soul from out that shadow that lies floating on the floor shall be lifted nevermore. Nevermore.